Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the MylesHighClub podcast. I am your host, Myles. Episode number 15. Yeah, episode number 15, I think. How you all doing? I'm doing well. No complaints from me today. I don't know, makes a change, Myles, but no, I'm in good spirits. Can't complain. Let's just be real. It's another slow news week. So another pretty slow news week. Headlines are dominated by all the same stuff they've been dominated by for about a year now. Here's a little fact. Don't know if it's a fun fact, but it's a little fact. March the 20th will mark 1 year exactly since the first sort of the lockdown started. So last year, so March 20th, 2020, at 7 p.m., the government closed all pubs, clubs, gyms, and restaurants. Now, you probably sat there thinking, why do you know that, Myles, or why is that such a specific date to you? Because it's my birthday. Just going to leave that in the air for a bit so you can all feel sorry for me. By now, if you're watching this, you've probably, or most of you have all endured a lockdown birthday. Simple as that. You've all enjoyed a lockdown birthday. However, I'm the narcissist in me just wants to point out that I'm part of the batch that's going to be coming around straight like March 20th marks. Okay, from now this point onwards, everyone's going to start enjoying a second birthday in lockdown. Which, yep. So I couldn't go for food. No, luckily, I think I went for lunch for my birthday last year because nothing closed until 7. But as we stand, everything's locked off until the end of March. I think they've said 31st of March. So I know we're still 2 months away, but it's something that's just been playing on the back of my mind as well. So it looks like we can't do anything. Can't go anywhere either. I had a whole order to the stuff I was going to talk about, but this morning, I was doing work. And I don't know what I was looking for, but I was basically on a news page. And I saw a little poem saying Amsterdam to ban. I don't know how it works because I got triggered by the headline, but Amsterdam are looking to ban tourists from. I think what they've said is they're looking to ban tourists from entering coffee shops. Let me just be clear on that. So I do believe that if you're not a Dutch resident, yeah, Dutch native, if you don't live in Netherlands, you can't, or from a certain period, you won't be able to enter a coffee shop, regardless of what or who you are. If you're not a Netherlands resident, you won't be able to enter the coffee shop. Which I said to myself, why the hell are they doing that? And then it turns out that they reckon 58% of tourists go to Amsterdam to consume drugs. That's what the article said. Basically, to go to the cafes. 58% of tourists go to Amsterdam to go to the cafes. Which, I mean, Amsterdam, you embrace your cafes. So, like, what's up? I looked for flights to go to Amsterdam because I saw everyone was. You've all seen it now because after about 3 months of people doing it, it's finally become mainstream news. It's all over the news. Kim Marsh has said something about it. But with all the influencers and everyone flying out to Dubai, I was like, oh, it must be really cheap to go out there. It's only, everyone listens to this now. A few people have flown out there. There are people that are flying out there on their own back, on their own money. Good for you. It turns out, though, that apparently everyone knows that there's rich people in Dubai. There's some rich, I don't know if it's one person or a company, but apparently they were offering influencers like 10 grand upwards just to fly out to Dubai, party, make it popular, and then go about your business again, which is what people have done, and it seems to have worked. So everyone was flying there. I thought, oh, flights are cheap. Looked for flights to Amsterdam. It's like over £200 from more than one airport. I looked at Birmingham, East Midlands, Luton, London, Manchester. Everywhere was over £200. So that ruled that out for me. And now it's coming up. We're looking to get a tourist ban, so you won't be able to enter the coffee shops. What? I feel like that's going to do more harm to their tourism than good. Again, I'm not an expert on any of this. I'm just assuming. For me, for example, I've been to Amsterdam. I don't even know how many times. I've been to Amsterdam a few times. Yes, every time I've gone to Amsterdam, it has been the purpose to go to the coffee shops and enjoy some of their delicacies. And every time I've been, I have done that exactly. But I've always gone and done at least one thing touristy. I think the first time we went to like a sex museum, we went to a glass museum, we went to the zoo. I've we've been on tours. So every time I go, I do stuff, and that's not just me. People out there, they go Heineken, they go to the football ground, they jump on canal boats. All the local businesses that get support, including these coffee shops. Surely, if 58% of people travel there to go to the cafes, and you're going to stop people from going to the cafes, that's going to unless the Netherlands have got some sort of untouchable, indestructible economy, surely that's going to affect it. Right, remember, you know the routine, guys. I don't know if you can see my breath, but yeah, I'm not going to bore you with the same old moan. Again, I do apologise if you do hear me slurp while I'm drinking this. Shit, it's getting cold already. Where was I? Yeah, so their economy must be doing really well for them to do all this. And then, as always, you see all these things, you click, you read the article, you get to the comment section, which, by the way, no matter what platform you go on, and although I understand it's a very toxic place to be in, comment section, the comment section has to be the MVP of the internet. It has to be the MVP of the internet. You're probably thinking, no, Mars, it's memes. Listen, memes are up there. Memes are close, but you know what comes underneath those memes? A comment section. No matter whether it's a good meme, a good picture, a bad picture, a video, comment sections are oh premium entertainment. They should charge people to view the comment section. That's how good the comment sections are. Like Netflix. Netflix should introduce a comment section so people can actually comment on all the movies and TV shows. Oh my god, that is a genius plan. Netflix. I don't know if anyone watches this has any influence at Netflix or can pass on a message. Introduce a comment section so when people are watching, they can either leave like live comments at a certain part of the video. So if you want, you can see what other people have thought. Or instead of just telling me that it's a 94% match, give me a star rating and a comment section so I can see what people are saying about the shows. Because that would help. That would just help me personally in life. And it'd be very entertaining. Yeah, so I looked on there. And then I saw a few, I don't know if they're conspiracies or if they've got, I didn't click all the links, but when people put links in the comment, I don't click it in case it's a link to someone's mixtape. But the theory behind this is that the EU, European Union, is going to start telling certain countries or are going to start implementing certain things that are meant to discourage Brits from wanting to travel to Amsterdam. Again, the article just says 58% of tourists, it doesn't say British tourists, it just says tourists. But a lot of people are thinking that this might be a way to either get back at England or the UK for leaving, or a way to get the UK to change their mind. I don't know, but apparently that's all the things like you'll see it now with Amsterdam, with Netherlands announcing this, and then other countries are going to start announcing other things that you're not allowed to go to unless you're a national. And then what they'll do out of nowhere is they'll say, okay, look, we've revised it, and because of the economy, they're only going to allow EU people to enter, which the way politics moves is like high school, so it wouldn't surprise me if the EU was to be that petty. You can just imagine it though. They say, you're not allowed to come to coffee shops. That's mainly the young people in England. Then France, I don't know. I don't. It's France first. It's France and Disney, so it's a hard one. But imagine if they said they don't want no, because Disneyland Paris is there for tourists to come along. What would it be like? French restaurants, I guess, or like French art galleries. I don't know what else the French. I don't know what else the French are known for, so I apologize. Or if like all these holiday locations like Ibiza, Napa, Magaluf, Malia, all of them, Fuerteventura, wherever people go, wherever all those places, start throwing up restrictions like, oh, no partying for certain residents, or we're shutting down all of our strips. And oh my, listen, it's 2021. I said it before, I said it last year, I said it at the start of this year. If you think this year is going to get better, then I wish I had your optimism. I really and truly do. And if it is going to get better this year, just know it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. Just like one of I don't know, a UK lorry driver found out. Again, it's a guys. When I tell you, it's a slow news day. It's a slow news week. I've been looking for something to talk about, apart from all the craziness in my own head all week. To try and be relevant, for the algorithms and whatnot. And it's been the slowest week. A plane disappeared somewhere. I think it was Indonesia. An Indonesian plane disappeared. The one article though that seems to be jumping out everywhere I look, no matter if I was looking for it or not, is about a lorry driver, a UK lorry driver, getting a ham sandwich taken off him in Netherlands, like by Dutch police as soon as they got to the borders. You heard me right, a ham sandwich. Now, I read this article because I thought to myself, they've clearly done clickbait and put a ham sandwich here. And I was like, maybe he was hiding something in the ham sandwich. Maybe the Dutch said, "What's that?" And the driver lied and said, "A ham sandwich," and it turns out to be a bomb or a child or something like that. I don't know. But no, I clicked the article to read it, and the news are making a big thing that a lorry driver got a ham sandwich taken off him at customs. And again, it's all down due to Brexit. If you're traveling into the European Union, you can't do that with any animal product or any product that's been part of an animal. So meat, dairy, things like that. So yeah, he got his sandwich yanked off him right there and had to starve for a bit. But that's as far as my news. That's not as far. It's not as far as my news knowledge goes. But that's as much news as I'm willing to talk about until this story. So if you're watching last week, I mentioned, and I didn't do a very good job of covering it because at the time of recording, it was actually ongoing. So I think I just mentioned last week about Trump supporters storming Washington, D.C. and storming the Capitol. I didn't really have much information. I also got confused about what the Capitol was, but there's the Capitol AL, which is Washington, D.C. city, and then there's Capitol OL, which is a government building. We covered all that off in last week's episode. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch last week's episode. But yeah, so it turns out it was due. I think it was the finals of the final election. The electoral roll was all being counted or something like that. Trump had done a speech, I think the day before or 2 days before, and verbatim says, "I want you to march down to the Capitol." Like he told them to march down to the Capitol. He wanted his people to fight. He was saying that it's rigged, the election has been stolen. Basically riled up all of his Trump supporters. And little behold, last week, I think it was the 7th or the 8th, I think it was the 7th, they did exactly that. No, it was the 6th. It was the 6th or 7th, one of those. But they did exactly that. You've all seen it now. You've all seen the pictures, the memes, the videos, the news. Thousands upon thousands of angry Trump supporters all marched onto the Capitol to what looked like a very pleasant reception. There was no police, there was no National Guard, there was no army. It was just a few police officers, a few barricades on trying to block people off. Which, if you then go back and watch it, there are videos showing you of police officers opening up the barricades, police officers welcoming people. There are police officers taking pictures with them, like with the Trump, what are they calling them? With the domestic terrorists in the Capitol building. So I'm even though they are, I'm not gonna chalk this one down to racism because you can't. It's as simple as that. I don't want to be that black guy that pulls his race card. I don't pull my race card. This was about the whole. I mean, there's probably deep-rooted racism in it, but the whole storm in the Capitol, there's no racism involved. Trump riled up his supporters to go march on Biden or to go stop this election and somehow turn over or start a coup, which is basically when the people overthrow the government. That's what it seemed like Donald Trump wanted to happen, the way he was going on. So yeah, they did all that. It was 4. I think at the time I wrote my notes down last week, it was 4. I think it's gone up to 5. 5 people died, like during and in the aftermath. There's the video that you might have seen of them. I think they're all rushing up the stairs and they're all up against the barricaded door. And there's at least, in the video I saw, I swear it looks like there's about 6 or 7 FBI agents just pointing guns at the door. No one's shooting. And then like the camera pans to one of them, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what they do for this to happen, but one shot gets let off. Then it cuts back and there's a woman on the floor. She died. rest in peace, I guess. A police officer. No idea if he was one of the good ones or one of the bad ones. I just know it was a police officer. He died from his injuries. So I think he died later on from his injuries. Rest in peace. Blame your colleagues that let them in there. They should have had you back, and you might still be breathing. Now, a few other rioters. You probably the videos of people climbing up the wall, even though there were stairs next to them. People taking selfies in the building, feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, stealing things out there, taking confidential information. They really had themselves a good old riot / coup, whatever you want to call whatever they did. Whatever you want to call that, they did it, and they did it well. They did it big. Like, they marched on a government building and got inside. And they had police running from them. The National Guard got called in hours later. They were still fighting the National Guard. They didn't give a shit. They did not care. And then at the end of the night, what did Trump do? Jumped on TV and was like, I know you're hurt. I love you. Go home. President of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. America. Now, there's some of the things, a lot of the things I've been seeing as well is, if this was BLM, this would have been different. There's the picture of, is it the National Guard? See, the National Guard or the Army literally littered all over the Capitol building steps when the Black Lives Matter protests were going out last year. None of that was here, even though they had days warning when Trump told people to march, and people were all over Twitter organizing, talking about, yes, we are going to march. So there's that. But again, whatever. These protests went on for how long? Police didn't shoot at nobody. National Guard didn't come in straight away. Backup didn't seem to arrive straight away. There was no tear gas. There was no, what are they called? Rubber bullets. None of that. Now, I can't speak for all black people, but I'm with some of the black people that were saying this, but not saying it as in, this is what should happen. We were just saying it as in, ain't it funny? It was a rhetorical question. That was the best. Yeah, they were rhetorical questions. BLM, peaceful protesting, peaceful walking, peaceful marches, getting tear gas, getting attacked by police, getting arrested. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there were riots, and yes, there were some violent protests, but that wasn't the goal of BLM. 2, that wasn't all of BLM. It wasn't even the vast majority of BLM. It was a few people, again, rightly so, angry people, and a few plants as well that were there just to stir up trouble and rile people up. But yeah, the BLM protests never escalated into anything like what we saw last week. And everyone keeps saying, I'd hate to think of what the result would have been if these were black people. And the fact of the matter is, there wouldn't have been results because black people wouldn't have got that far. Like I keep seeing everyone say, like, imagine if BLM got into no, BLM would not have got that far. BLM would have had to have organised it in secret, because as soon as they said we were going to march on the Capitol and just stand out there, they would have done what they did last year and had all of those police, all of the guns and everything on the steps ready. So they wouldn't even have got that far. I doubt people would have even been able to touch the building. I've watched so many movies where they make it look like all these government buildings are a lot harder to get into than what those people made it look like. And then I saw another good meme that was like, if that's how easy it is to get into the Capitol, I wonder what would have happened the year before, when everyone was on about going to Area 51. That's what the Trump supporters want to do. Trump supporters, you want to make yourself useful. Organise a march and go march on Area 51. Maybe we need to put out a rhetoric like, we need Donald Trump to say Martin Luther King and Tupac aren't dead and they're being kept at Area 51 and they're using taxpayers' money to keep them alive and feed them and stuff. That'll rile up all the Trump supporters. Have them march down to Area 51, break in, and finally let us know what is going on in Area 51. Because the government have already showed they're not going to shoot you. They're not going to hurt you. They're saying people are getting arrested. Okay. So what? Whether they are or aren't, I highly doubt it's going to matter to the whole scheme of things. Another one, all the Republicans are now turning their back on Trump. Cold world for longer than 4 years, because he had to campaign as well. But for the past 4 years, Republicans have done nothing but kiss his ass, suck up to him, defend him. What did that woman? Do you remember when he lied? And there was like, oh, he lies, and he didn't lie. It was an alternative truth. What the fuck is an alternative truth? Like, Trump lied basically about something. I can't remember what it was about. I don't care about Trump. He lied about something, and then like one of his advisors came out and was like, he didn't lie. It was an alternative truth. Which, huh? An alternative truth? That is white privilege. Storming the Capitol building, white privilege. I'm not going to list all the things that are white privilege. I don't want to scare my white followers away. Don't worry. Told you before, I'm not a radical. I'm not an extremist black person. Yet. I'm blaming this. But yeah, all the Republicans are now slow, one by one. Even his right-hand man, his vice president, Mike Pence, is disagreeing with him. Rudy Giuliani, his lawyer, even he sounds like he's against him now. See what happens when Republicans, politicians, humans basically, but yeah, politicians do not care about the person. It's all about the power. If Trump had won this election, I guarantee not one of these people would have popped up and said anything about his past rhetoric. Not at all. I watched a video where it was showing people, and it would say something like the 6th of January or the 5th of January, and they're there talking, saying the election was rigged, it was stolen from us, the people deserve the right to fight for their justice, to fight for their country. And then 4 days later, after Trump initiates this riot, which it's the first time he's initiated a riot where he basically domestic terrorists ransacked a government building. But it's not the first time that he's let out some hurtful, harmful, reckless rhetoric. He called African countries shithole countries. I'm trying to think of all the new things he said. Called all Mexicans rapists. Told them that he was going to build a wall and they were going to pay for the wall. Basically claimed the rights to Obama's great leadership when he was on about unemployment in the black community is down. Yes, Trump, it's down while you're president because of what the previous president did. You didn't just join the White House and then all fucking, again, let's not get stuck on that too much. So all that was happening there. The Democrats are talking about impeaching Trump, which to me, all I know is impeachment means you get removed as the president. And I'm sure I mentioned before that if they impeach Trump, it doesn't really matter because the vice president is Mike Pence, who's as big a shit as Donald Trump is. Remember, again, my memory's really bad, you'll get used to this, but Mike Pence is one of these people that was all about gay conversion shock therapy. Gay shock conversion therapy. Basically, this sounds like it's from a movie, but shock conversion therapy is pretty much what it sounds like, where they use electricity to try and shock the gay out of someone, and then call it conversion therapy because they're converting them back to being, or they're converting them to being straight. I don't know if it's back to being straight, but he supported that. If he became president, oh my God, human rights laws would probably get involved, so that means you wouldn't be able to do that, but he would definitely bring something in. But yeah, so everyone's turning their back on Trump. They're talking about impeaching him. I thought to myself, I'm sure Biden takes over like January 20th or something. There's only 2-3 weeks left. Is there any point in impeaching him? For the Americans and New York, yes. Well, Americans, yes, because even though there's only 2 weeks left, if he gets impeached as a president, it means in the future he can't run for president again. And it also means that once he stops becoming the president, the Secret Service and all that won't still have to protect him. So like Barack Obama, George Bush, or I don't know, I was going to say Kennedy, but Kennedy's dead. Don't know if Reagan's dead or alive. I think Reagan's dead? Who knows? But yeah, all past presidents get Secret Service still following them around. So Barack Obama is still protected by the Secret Service, even though he hasn't been president in 4 years. If Trump gets impeached, he doesn't get any of that, which is all funded by the taxpayers. So I'm sure a lot of people out there will be happy to know they're not still paying for the protection of Donald Trump. Oh, this is good, but it's getting cold quick, so I need to finish it. And this is, again, all this is happening, and that was the first week of January. Like, what a way to start the new year. Just, again, guys, if you think 2021 is going to be your year, I'm not going to argue with that. Well, I don't know what you've got planned. You do you. But if you think 2021 in general, as a year, affecting everyone, is going to be a better year. I really want your optimism. I genuinely really want your optimism. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't see that happening. I don't see that. I want to get back to, here we go. Let's have a little. I'm done talking about Trump. If you want to know more, go do your research. But I don't know if it's 2021. It's just cinemas. I've said this before. I need cinemas to reopen. I haven't been. The last film. Oh, that's a good one. What was the last film everyone watched at the cinema? The last film I watched in the cinemas. Oh, it might have been. I'm trying to think of what year everything came out. Lion King, Aladdin. Might have been one of Disney's live action movies. Should we do some research? I feel like I can't talk properly today whatsoever. So Disney, Aladdin. I feel like, I'm not doing research. It's not that important. But yeah, one of the last films I think I went to watch was either Lion King, Aladdin. Could have been a Marvel movie. What was the last Marvel movie that came out in cinemas? Is it Spider-Man Far From Home? No. Yeah. Spider-Man Far From Home. Homecoming is the first one. Is it? I'm such a bad. Yeah, it is. Far From Home's the second one. I don't know why I'm going all crazy. They were probably some of the last films I watched. I've already gone on a rant about how all the Marvel films got pushed back. I want the cinemas to open. I miss going to the cinema with the biggest screen, the loudest of surround sounds, and just getting engaged in a big blockbuster movie. That's one thing I want cinemas to reopen. What else? Restaurants. Again, I understand half the country, well, probably more than half the country, depends on pubs and lives in pubs. I've never been a fan of pubs. I don't drink. So because I don't drink alcohol, there's no point going to a pub so I can pay what, £2.50, £3 for a J2O. No, thank you. So pubs, I don't care about. But restaurants, yes, please open the restaurants. Even though I'd be spending more money, restaurants just offer something different that you don't get with either home cooking or takeaways. Home cooking, you got to do it all yourself. So don't get me wrong, I love a home cooking. I cooked chicken. I don't know what they're called. I think they're called chicken scallops or escallops. But it's basically chicken breast. I diced them all up just so Mila can eat them. Just diced up chicken breasts, flour, egg, dip them in breadcrumbs, lemon zest, and parsley. Some butter and oil in the frying pan. Fry that all up with some coconut rice and salad. And I got some of that left over, so that's dinner for today, later on today, actually. But yeah, so don't get me wrong, I like cooking from home, but I don't know about you, but when I cook from home, it takes me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to cook food, and I swear the recipe tells me this will be done. Prep time, 35, 40 minutes. Here's me an hour and a half later, like, okay, now I can start actually cooking things and everything in there. So restaurants, takeaways, let's be honest, what do people order from a takeaway? Pizza, Chinese, curries, Indian, maybe a kebab, maybe Chippy, Mackey's, KFC, now Subway, now they're on there, but there's no proper food. You know, when you go to a restaurant, like, I want a good old Miller on Carter, some steak, some crawfish, some mac and cheese, sweet potato fries. Oh, I think I just want steak. I was going to try and list off a bunch of restaurants. Smash Burger. There's not a Smash Burger close to me, and just before we went into lockdown, towards the end of last year, I discovered this place, and it's one of my favorite burger places. Sorry, Five Guys, but Smash Burger is my new favorite burger place, hands down. There's like 5 around the country, and luckily there's one 20 minutes away from me, but they don't deliver, or they don't deliver to my area anyway. So that's another fucking ball egg. What we got? Cinemas, restaurants. I'd say clubs. Not that I do clubbing. I don't do nighttime clubbing, but I love a good day party. I think 2-3 years ago, I must have gone to every single hip hop brunch that was thrown in Birmingham. There's a specific one because, as I found out later when I told one of my friends to check out a hip hop brunch, they brought tickets to it, and they said to me they ended up in the mailbox with drinking prosecco in a club with some R&B music playing. I was like, that is not hip hop brunch. Not the hip hop brunch I go to. The one I went to is in Digbeth. It was a dingy building because that's what Digbeth is. It's the whole aesthetic. Oh man, it was good. I think I went to all of them for a good year, and then 2019, I think I started dropping off at how many I went to. 2018, I started dropping off. But yeah, I want to go back. I need to go back. I keep walking the dog and listening to bashment music, and my hips are just whining on the whole walk around. People probably look at me thinking, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" But yeah, I need a hip hop brunch. I need a bashment brunch. I need some sort of party where I can just get shit out my system. Do you know how I feel? Get it all out my system. So they need to open up. Um, I say tourist attractions, but safari parks, zoos, they need to open back up. Aquariums, can you guys open back? I just want to look at some animals. I haven't seen a David Attenborough program in such a long time. I just want to go look at some, I say wild, captive. I want to go look at some captive animals. Get anything that basically allows me to get out of the house. I want to go and do. There's only so many walks I can go on. There's only so much you can do in lockdown. Okay, especially when you got a family, children, responsibilities. I can't just leave the country. Well, I mean, what I would give to leave the country, and then I keep saying this. I'm like, I'd love to leave the country, and then I'm like, I don't even know where the fuck I'd go. Like, imagine if I leave the country and I go Amsterdam, and I don't. If I went to Amsterdam, like, I feel sorry for any Brits. I shouldn't just say Brits, but I feel sorry for. I'm going to keep it with Brits. I feel sorry for any Brits that travel to Amsterdam. Maybe when things open back up just a little bit more, and go to these coffee shops only to get turned away to find out that because we're not in the EU or you're not from Netherlands, you can't go into the coffee shop. Because that would drop. I'd get on the first flight back. I know I said when I go there, I do other touristy stuff, but like I said, the main reason to go there is to catch a vibe in the coffee shops. If I can't get a hot chocolate and some super silver haze, I'd get the next flight back and ring my insurance, tell them I got scammed or something, see if I can get money back for my flight. But open the world back up even just gyms. I told you that last week. I was just getting into gyms and they closed. This, I think, since a week before Christmas. Was it a week? No, Christmas week, the week after Christmas, last week, and I have not done any home workouts. I know I said I was going to get back into it. Nope, I've just started eating clean only because I've finished all the shit that I got brought for Christmas. There's no crap in the house now. It's all back to normal. So started buying my fruit again, getting back to that clean eating. But in terms of working out, I think it's because I'm back at work as well. So because I'm back at work, I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I just wake up, get ready, start work about an hour before my shift would even normally start, just so I can get a jump on things and keep it moving. But there we go. So hopefully we can open up gyms back or something, because again, I can't run. I can run. Hate going for runs though. Going for runs are boring. I'm still scarred from coming off my bike. I worked out last year that when I came off my bike, it must have been around April, May, the summertime. It was definitely the summertime. It was like June, July, I think, when I came off the bike. I still haven't ridden my bike since then. It's been moved around the garage for various reasons, but I still haven't actually physically jumped on the bike, gone for a ride. I brought lights for it. I brought a helmet for it months ago because I was like, right, I'm going to get back into it. And I'm still just I don't know if I'm shook, if I'm being lazy. Probably a bit of both, if I'm being honest. But I just have not got back on that bike yet. So maybe I'll do that. Pull the bike out, start doing some home workouts, get back to feeling how I feel. What else has happened? Let me check my notes. Oh yes, again, I don't know if these people are trolls or not, because if there's one thing I've learned is that people like to complain. What about? Who knows? But people love to complain. So, Boris Johnson went for a bike ride, and I know you guys don't care either. But Boris Johnson went for a bike ride, and people went off on him because he was 7 miles away from his home on a bike ride. What is this world coming to? What is the country coming to? What is the world coming to when someone, again, it's Boris, and people are pissed off at him at the minute, but what is it coming to? This is what I thought, that people are going in on Boris for going on a fucking bike ride 7 miles away from his home. Like, he's on a bike ride, what do you want him to do? Circle his garden. He's probably got a big enough garden too, but not just going to circle his garden. And then I realised that 2 women, before this had happened, 2 women were fined, I think, £200 to £500 each for walking 5 miles away from their home. Again, I didn't realise this lockdown 3.0 was like the first one where you couldn't leave your house. But yeah, so apparently, but they got it withdrew. So apparently they didn't get They haven't been charged those fines, but they were stopped by police and fined up to £500 just for being more than 5 miles away from their home when they were walking. Which, again, come on, grow the fuck up. Just, I'm not a politician. I should be. I should run. I don't know what my rules would be, but I should run for Prime Minister. Just hear me out. Hear out my set of rules if I was to run for Prime Minister. Number one, legalise cannabis. And then I'd be able to start smoking. But no, legalise cannabis, that would be number one. I would take a book out of a leaf out of Scotland's book, even though I've been thinking this for years. Free, I don't know what to call it, free period stuff for women. Sanitary goods, is that what it is? Is it sanitary goods? Basically, I don't think women should have to pay for their sanitary goods, or at least there should be like a government brand or a free brand or something where women have the option to go and get that. Now, what I would say is, because I've seen a lot of these comments now, so you have to, so sanitary goods should be free. Condoms and any sort of I got a daughter. I don't know what the fuck they meant to call these things. You can tell I don't use them. No, I didn't use them. I normally do, but like I didn't this time. But who cares? I got my daughter from it. Right, so perception. It's not perception. Contraception. There we go. You already sat there thinking, Myles, what the fuck you do? I missed off a whole start of that word. Contraception. I was there. Perspection. I was making up words. Contraception. No. Contraception you should have to pay for. Whether that be condoms, the injection, the pill, whatever. You still should have to pay for all that. I don't know, like, about menopause and what women go through after the average age of 40, I want to say. But again, if it's nature and there's nothing you can do about it, I don't think you should have to pay for anything like that as well. There's hormone control tablets? Yes. Again, there's no women around here. So anyone who knows about the menopause, if hormone control tablets is one of the things that people need to get, then you stop producing, I'm sure women stop producing estrogen. Sure, when you're going through menopause, you stop producing estrogen, which is why some old women are hairy. Possibly. So yeah, free estrogen for all women over 40 and free sanitary goods. So tampons, sanitary pads, towels, cloths, whatever you know, to stop the, whatever you women do, that should all be free. Legalize weed. There we go. I would definitely take a look at the prison jail system. That would change. That would 1,000% change. First of all, hear me out. Again, it's very hard because of what people are in there for. For example, if someone's in jail for theft, I don't think they should be treated like an animal. Does it depend on what they're stealing? Yes. If you're stealing someone's TV, then I'm just going to assume it's hard times and you stole someone's TV. If you're stealing people, which is kidnap, or like women's clothing, women's underwear, kids' underwear, creepy stuff like that, then maybe you need some sort of psychology to feel like. But the jails need to be improved. Like, I see, like, you see like videos of people in jail and they've got like TVs and Xboxes, memory foam, mattresses. I see people complain about that stuff. Like, I can't believe they've got all this, they've got a better bed than me. That's not their fault, that is your fault. You want a memory foam mattress? Go buy yourself a memory foam mattress. What you need to understand is, yes, people commit crimes when they shouldn't, and they should be punished. I agree with all of that. I don't care if you're stealing to feed your family, or if you're just stealing because you're a crackhead. Stealing is stealing. I'm sorry, it's wrong. So you get locked up. What you shouldn't happen is you shouldn't get treated like an animal, because if you treat someone like an animal, then they're going to act like an animal. And then when it comes to them being released, they're just going to be released and act more like an animal when they're on the outside, which means they end up being better off on the inside than the outside. That shouldn't be how it is. Prison should be rehabilitation, which means, yes, no matter how much of a bigger piece of shit you are, even though I do feel like there's two or three, probably more than two or three, I'm just going off the top of my head, situations that I can think of where people shouldn't be rehabilitated. They should be locked up. But probably for life. Probably for life they should be locked up. But again, They should be given like a full sentence, locked up, kept away from everyone. They shouldn't get certain privileges. But no, anyone else in jail should, because what you need to do is, I feel like, not only in order to be rehabilitated, they need to understand the benefits of the outside. So, give them a TV, yes. Does it have to be 4K? No. Does it even have to be 1080p? No. It should just be like a standard HD. It doesn't have to be HD TV, but a standard HD TV. It's the basic HD TV there. Maybe not one in everyone's room, but just TVs around the jail, like in the chilling areas and outdoors. So if people want to watch TV, they can watch TV. Limited channels, because again, you're giving them this freedom. They're not bored. They've got stuff to do, but obviously they're being punished, so they're not going to be able to watch Sky and get all of the good stuff like that. Like, don't let them watch full games, but put Match of the Day on. Things like that, if you get my drift. What else should they have? The sleeping arrangements. No prison should be overcrowded. Prisons are overcrowded because half the time, if it's not innocent people being arrested, they're arresting people that shouldn't be arrested. For example, drug dealers. Say what you want about them. If they're breaking the law, drug dealers should be arrested. Drug users shouldn't be. They're a user for, they could be addicted. Drug users should be helped. Should be, if you're going to arrest them, you don't like put them in handcuffs, send them to compulsory rehab that they can't leave. That should be the sentence. You caught smoking weed, you go to rehab for, I don't know, how long does it take to break an addiction? 28 days? 28 days, depending on how strong it is. If it's something like meth, or you go to a different rehab where it's a bit more strict and a bit more controlled because it's a higher controlled substance. Things like that, you get my drift. You don't put drug users in jail, because you put drug users in jail, all they do in jail is use drugs. Who'da thunk it? But yeah, there you go. Drug dealers in. What have I said? So we've got give them TVs, benefits. Outside time's fine. I don't know about these open jails where people can just leave and come back. To me, I don't see the point in jail. Like, I get you don't have your whole freedom because you still got to go back to somewhere. But the fact that you can leave, well, that's crazy. But again, whatever. Sleeping conditions should be improved. I feel like all police officers that work in jails should go through some sort of attitude test or something, because again, you're, as a police person, you should already know that you're not looked at in the nicest way, even by criminals, even though they're in the wrong and you just doing your job. Same thing goes for traffic wardens. You weren't in the wrong. That person was in the wrong, but you're just doing your job, but you're the bad guy in this situation. I think a lot of these prison guards treat the guys like shit as well. And because of that, again, they feel like they're animals. You're being locked in a cage, you're being fed shit, there's very little entertainment or poor entertainment, and then you've got guards talking down to you and treating you like shit and treating you like an animal. I don't know how else you expect people to come out. I really don't. And splitting people up, I don't know how they would do it, but you shouldn't. I think police have a rough idea of like who their goody two-shoe criminals are, like your white-collar criminals or people that aren't gang affiliated or anything like that. Lock them all up somewhere so they at least have a chance. They can go in with a bunch of people who regret what they did, know they fucked up, and want to change their life around. Leave them, let them do their rehabilitation separate from all the people that are in and out of jail, don't care about the consequences, are probably planning to commit something the day they get out of jail, because they're the ones that end up corrupting these young guys or convincing these young guys that whatever path they're on is the wrong path and to join them. That shouldn't be happening anymore. That needs to stop. They need to be split up and separated. Again, if I was to run for president, I would have a bigger team so they'd all be able to help me lock down all my ideas. But prison reform, that's one of them. Free women stuff, that was another one. Legalizing cannabis, that's another one. I don't know if it falls under prison reform, but like drug users going to rehab rather than going to jail. Non-violent drug users or alcohol. Yeah, because like, I suppose because alcohol's legal, even though we won't get into that. But yeah, so non-violent drug users should all be sent to rehab for however long they need to rehab. And what you need to do, they should be in rehab until they shouldn't be allowed to leave until they test clean. So I know that might take a few days or a week, but until they test clean, they shouldn't be able to leave. Then they should be kept for a week or something or like 28 days after they've tested clean. That's when their rehab should officially start. But right now you're clean. We're going to keep you clean for 28 days or however long. 28 days, keep them clean. They stay clean. If they're showing good signs, you release them back into the world, and then put everybody on probation, even if you catch them with one spliff or if you catch them with an ounce, regardless, put everyone on some sort of like 3-month probation, and they just have to keep checking back twice a month. At any time, you can just get called up to say, can you come in at this time, or you need to submit a sample by such and such, but you have to come in and we have to be here to submit the sample so we know it's actually you. Probably listening to this thinking, Myles, whose side are you on? Listen, if I'm Prime Minister, I'm on the side of good people, or I'm on the side of the law. That's whose side I'd be on. But I'd make it a lot funner for everyone. And I would say I'd legalise weed, so all of the drugs ain't my problem. Yeah, crackheads. What else? I'm trying to think of what else would I be able to change if I was Prime Minister. Does the Prime Minister have a say in what's taught in school? Because I feel like if the Prime Minister does, I'd be definitely changing the school curriculum. Tax would be thrown in with maths. Maths would change completely until you take it as a GCSE, because you do need basic maths. Add, take away, multiply, divide. I don't know if you need prime numbers, square numbers, decimals. Decimals, yes, because of money. That makes sense. Percentages, yes, because when you go shopping and you get discounts, you work it out. All basic stuff like that. And then tax should be thrown in. How tax works, why we have tax, the history of tax. It could just be like a tiny section at some point, just throwing it. When you get to like year 9, when you're about to do work experience, you can understand how work works. But tax and all that should all get thrown into maths. How to run a household, or how to buy a household / flat, and then how to run should be like life lessons. This one it's a bit because not necessarily everyone would want to be involved in this, but like I don't think there's a right or wrong way, but we have sex education now. I don't know how good sex education is these days. Only thing I remember from my sex education is how to put on a condom, which even then still a fucking handful in it. And that women should wipe front to back, or as I learned on a TV show that I watched, wipe front to back because you want to keep the trash out the playhouse. That's why I don't wipe back to front to back. There we go. So the school syllabus curriculum would change. Tax would be involved. Becoming a homeowner would be involved. Starting your own business. Just to put, like, you need to put the idea in kids' heads. Like, kids are smart. They're a lot smarter than we take kids for granted for. Sometimes all kids need is that seed. All they need is a seed. All you learn as a school, all we learned at school was work experience. Go for work experience, and then you base normally your work experience and your GCSEs around what kind of job you can get. Why get a job? Create your own job. Make your own business. That's never pushed you as a kid. So how to start your own business, how to run your own business. That would all be, again, it doesn't have to be a whole year's curriculum. You just throw it in, plant the seeds in a lot of these kids' heads about their hobbies and how to create their own business and how to monetize their own business and all sorts of things like that. Staying safe on social media. Maybe that should be a class. Maybe kids need a class on how to stay safe on the internet, because it doesn't seem like a very safe place for children. But there you go. Right, what else would Prime Minister Gillespie do? I'm just trying to think of all the things that I would change. There's so much. I've tried my hardest not to talk about the current global pandemic this episode, because I feel like I've spoke about it every single episode. So I've already told you how I'd handle that, so I'm not gonna talk about any of that. I'd put us back in the EU. I say that, I'd try. Oh, but look, I don't know what happened over there. Let's just sit down, talk it all out, and see how we can get with this. At one point, I was going to say I'd give Scotland another referendum. But then at the same time, I don't know. I feel like Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland should get a referendum either before or after every single big decision is made. For example, Scotland had a referendum, I believe, just before Brexit, or just at the start of Brexit when everything was unclear, and they voted to stay in the UK. And then the UK voted to leave the EU. And then Scotland were like, oh, no, we don't want to do that, we don't want to leave. But then the issue that they had in Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon had anyways, she was like, we want to leave the UK and become an independent country so we can join the EU. But then the issue that they were having is the EU, there was no chance, there was no guarantee that Scotland would get accepted into the EU. Being part of the UK voted leave. If Scotland then broke off from the UK and were like, we're an independent country now, we're not part of the United Kingdom, put us back in the EU, there is no guarantee the EU would allow them in. So I don't think you can check. There's not much you can do. Yeah, as soon as I'm a prime minister, I'm going to offer you all another referendum. These are all my ideas. If you like them, stay. If you don't, bounce. I would because I love it so much when I go over there, I would try and do some sort of reconciliation with the Irish. I just feel like it shouldn't be the UK or UK and Ireland. It should just be the United Kingdom. We should unite. So again, that would mean them all changing from euros to pounds and this and that and Dublin. Ireland probably want to stay in the EU because I've seen we work with Irish people at Samsung and they all had Brexit jokes. Every last one of them. Bastards. But there you go. That's the perks of being Irish over being British. I think over being British. And everyone hates us. I feel like if I became prime minister, I think everyone on a referendum, they'd all leave. I don't know if you guys know this. If you're English and live in England, I don't know if you know this. Everyone hates us. It's not just Europe who hates us, which is displayed every time Eurovision Song Contest comes around. Scottish hate us. Welsh. I think the Welsh hate us as well. The Irish definitely hate us, and rightfully so. The Northern Irish might hate us as well, actually. But everyone hates the English. Everyone hates the English. Again, we have a shit history, so I don't blame them. Well, not we. They, them. They have a shit history. I just happen to be an after effect of that shit history being over here. But now I've spoke about it with you guys, I might run. Give me a couple of years to get a suit and build my little political team, but I will run. I'm going to be like no, I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to be like the Donald Trump. I meant that in the sense of I'm going to be someone who has no political experience who's going to run and win, but I can take the young crowd. I've got the heart of the young crowd. Free sanitary products for women. I've got the women behind me. I think that's all I need, really. The young crowd and the women. And the black crowd. Well, what would I do for my people? That was a good one. See how good I am as a prime minister. I just thought about everyone. I didn't even selfishly dive into how I could make the world better for black people, England better for black people straight away. There would definitely be a look into pay equality across the board. Pay for men v women, black versus white versus brown, Christian versus Muslim versus Sikh. All of that would all be looked into. I don't know what the laws are on gay marriage and all that stuff. That would all be legalized, fully legalized. Gay people can get married how I would do it is I would say gay people are humans. They have rights. They have human rights. So they can get married wherever they like by law. It's legal to get married anywhere. Then I'd say, however, because we don't want to offend anyone's religious beliefs, if you choose or if you want to get married in a religious establishment, so church, mosque, temple, then it's up to the head of that said building as to whether or not they would allow for your type of companionship to be, wholly matronized or whatever they say in other religions and cultures. But all that would be legal in there as well. I'm trying to think of what else. I can't think of much else I would do as prime minister. But like I said, with a bigger team, check back in 2-3 years to find out how my prime minister plan is going. I'll have a team by then. I'll have a suit or two. Who knows? Not a tracksuit either. Like a proper 3-piece suit with a tie and everything. Purple, of course. The tie, not the suit. I don't want to stand out too much. You saw how crazy the Americans went at Barack Obama for wearing a tan suit. So got to keep it low key. I think I'd make a fantastic prime minister. There'd be bashment coming out of Downing Street 24/7. There'd be cookouts. I'd be the first prime minister to catch a wine at Carnival. It would just be fantastic. It would be new. I'd call it it'd be New England. That's what we would be. We would be a New England under new leadership and new rules. I think Again, I haven't got time yet. I think this is going to be a short episode. But like I said, it's a slow news week. So I am going to call it here. I was trying to think if I had anything else to add to that. Nope, I don't. So we're gonna call it here. This has been a slow episode, guys. Stick with me though. I'm pretty sure something is gonna happen very soon. Tomorrow, oh here we go. The day I'm recording is the 12th, Tuesday the 12th. Fingers crossed that by the next time you see me, I should be a PlayStation 5 owner. The rumors are that there is stock coming in on the 13th, and then sometime after the 13th, hopefully a few days, stock should be live at certain retailers. I'm trying to keep it to myself because I want to get one first. And then once I've got mine, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I'll then start saying where I got mine from and all that. So fingers crossed, cross your fingers for me. But by the next time I come on here, I should be a PS5 owner, which then means my gaming channel will be able to finally get off to a running start. So fingers crossed on all those things. But until there you go. Until the next time, I've been Myles. This has been the 3-Star Pod. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I was about to say my whole outro for the Works podcast then. See, I'm back to work and I'm in work mode. I'm Myles. This has been the MylesHighClub podcast. Peace.